In this fourth video, we are going to see the importance of Vedic society. How of the Vedic society during the Vedic period. How of the Vedic society during the Vedic period. These were some of the most important family social life we have already discussed just before we have when we have made a comparison. That time we have discussed about the society. So this is very important position of women during the different stages of Vedic period, early Vedic and later Vedic period. Already it is the same as you see here in the screen given there in your textbooks. So even you are not able to understand from this video, you can go through the chapter and understand the important points. So women were treated equal with the men. In the early Vedic time, women were equally respected with the men. But in the later Vedic period, the status of women reduced, that we have seen earlier. They took part in social and religious functions and gatherings. In the early Vedic period, women actively took part in all the religious and social functions of the society. It was same in the later Vedic period. In later Vedic also, women were able to taken part in the social and religious functions. They were given education. In the early Vedic period, most of the women were educated, but in the later Vedic period, the reception of education were reduced. Some very few were educated. They had freedom to choose their husband in the early Vedic period, but the widows, education of her allowed to remarry. Widows were not allowed to remarry, but in the later Vedic period, that freedom also were lost. The women were not able to choose their husbands according to their will. So monogamy was usually practiced in the early Vedic period. However, polygamy was also seen. But in the later Vedic period, these are the system of marriages that you have already learned in the previous classes. So I am not going to discuss more about in details. Anyway, my dears, please keep in your mind some minimum three differences between early Vedic age and later Vedic period with respect to the position of women in the Vedic society. Now, the four caste system, the four varnas, the four different caste, that is we are going to see. The four varnas. Varnas means what? Varnas means a system of religion which is based on the religion, caste and caste. Yes. There were four varnas. Varnas means some religious orders, religious positions, some religious positions in the Vedic society. Some people were having some positions in the Vedic society. Which were the four varnas in the Vedic period? Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. These four were the four varnas. These four were the four varnas in the Vedic period. Varnas means what? Some of the religious orders, some of the positions in the Vedic society. There were four type of positions. There were four type of varnas: Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras. So who were Brahmins? Brahmins were the teachers. They were the teachers who explain Vedic text and perform religious ceremonies. So the Brahmins were the priests, teachers, and so on. They were used to teach the religious text. And Kshatriyas were the varies, they were the soldiers and nobles and ruling class. Kshatriyas were the soldiers, warriors, and also nobles and ruling class. And Vaisyas were the common people who were engaged in trade, business, agriculture, and industry. These two are the people who belong to the Vaishyas. And who were Shudras? Shudras were the servants or the even briefly slaves, the slaves who were working for all other three Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas. They did not have any, they did not own any property or land of their own, but they were working for all the other three religious position. That means they were working for the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas. So society had mobility. The food cooked by Shudras was in ban. No one in the Vedic society were allowed to use the food cooked by the Shudras after they were the laborers, after they were the slaves, after they were the slaves. So, my dear children, these were the four different varnas in the Vedic society, which were there: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras. Now, another most important point: four ashramas, four ashramas, four ashramas, varna ashramas. These are also known as varna ashramas. Ashramas, different stages of life, different not positions but different stages of life. Which are the four stages of life? Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. These four were the different ashramas. That means different stages of human's life in the Vedic period. Each stage was in the interval of 25 years of gap. Let's see. The first stage of human's life, Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is a period of a human from birth to the completion of 25 years. 1 to 25 years, the human, the particular individual have to live a life of Brahmacharya. That means this particular time he has to get educated and he has to be developed. It's the time for development of body and mind. This is a time for Brahmacharya. That means to get educated. And in the second stage, Grahastha Asrama, that start from 25th year up to the completion of 50 year. In this particular stage, he can be gets married and lead a family life. This is an important feature of Grahastha Asrama. In this time, he can get married and lead a family life. Then after the Grahastha Asram, again after 25 years, from 50 to 75, he has to start a life of Vanaprastha. That's the Vanaprastha Asram. Another stage of life. Vanaprastha is spent in meditation and prayers. His meditation and prayers. Here he has to leave his family. He is allowed to live with family from the age of 25 to 50. After the completion of 15 years of age, he has to leave the family and he has to spend all his life in meditation and prayers up to the 75 years. And after the completion of 75 years, he has to move to the next stage of his life, which is known as Sannyasa Asram. Sannyasa Asram, fourth stage of life, Sannyasa Asram, that is starting from 75 to the completion of 100 years of. In this particular stages of life, he has to renounce entire worldly pleasures and live in forest as sannyasi. Sannyasa means the one who lives as a sannyasi in the forest by living every worldly pleasures in his life. That's about the four different stages of life during the Vedic period. Now we have learned about four different varnas and four different ashramas. Varnas means the different positions of a Vedic society. Ashramas means four different stages of an individual in the Vedic society. This is a Gurukul system. This is a Gurukul system. Gurukul system means what? Gurukul system means just before I think I have explained you that a system that the students has to be resided with the teachers in a forest, live with him, helping in his all household activities. This is Gurukul system of education. That is I have already explained. So you have to read further from the textbook. I am not going to explain Gurukul system again, but I have explained before. So you have to read the textbook and further understand. The economy, the Vedic economy. The most important sources of occupation during the early Vedic time, agriculture. Agriculture was the primary occupation. It was the primary occupation of the Vedic society, and the most important grain, barley was the most important grain that they used to cultivate. Barley was the most important grain that they used to cultivate. And domestication of animals, and also the cattle form important dhana made priest. That's about the agriculture. Agriculture was the primary source of occupation. Barley was the main source of grain that they used to cultivate, and they have domesticated the animals as a secondary occupation. Here it is given that a comparison between the early Vedic age and later Vedic period regarding the agriculture. It is very clearly giving you an information regarding the particular content. That is the end of the second chapter, the Vedic period. I hope and believe that you could get an idea about the chapter, understood the subject matter, and after the textbook you might have provided some of the questions. So go through the questions, try to find out the answers from the textbook inside. Rest of the information will be given shortly. By that time, try to continue watch the videos and get the meaning of the chapter. Thank you.